Good morning, welcome back to the Egg Lab, and today it's a Game Boy Color. So, what we've got planned for this? Well, this is an eBay purchase for my personal collection, one that I'm missing. I don't know if it works. I've just got it out of the bag. It's scratched up pretty badly. Someone's engraved some kind of initials into the bottom of it. So definitely well loved. But we're going to spruce it up. We're going to recap it because these things are getting on 20 odd years at least. We're going to change the capacitors, the electrolytic capacitors at least. And I've also picked up a IPS screen. So the screens on these are okay, but you can only use them with a light source. They're quite difficult to see. So we're going to replace the screen with a modern IPS screen, change the capacitors as we say, and reshell it so that it's in basically new condition. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so first things first, let's test it. So we've got a couple of rechargeable batteries to drop in here, and this random Japanese game which I've picked up somewhere along the lines. Okay. That seems to be working okay. Can't see that because of the light, but that seems to be working okay. Again, even I've got quite a lot of lighting in here now, and even then it's quite difficult to see the screen. That might be my eyes, but it's quite difficult to see the screen, so definitely benefit from a new IPS screen. Okay, but at least it's working, so that's half the battle. No repair needed. Looks like it's just a bit of modernisation. So let's get her open and see what we're looking at. These Game Boys have these Y-shaped screws. So I've got a Y bit, and it should just be 6 screws to open her up. Okay, so that is not looking too bad at all. There's a little bit of corrosion, which we'll clean up. Other than that, a little bit of old flux, but yeah, doesn't look too bad in there, as expected. Okay, let's get the rest of it out. Okay, so we're inside. Everything looks okay. I'm probably going to give it a little bit of a clean up, but I'll do that after, because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change these capacitors. But also, because we're putting a new IPS screen in, I picked up this, which is a Game Boy Color Clean Power. from Retro 6. Now, I'm not 100% sure how this fits in here. We've also got these two capacitors, which are ceramic surface mounted capacitors. Obviously they're very, very tiny in these packets, and they'll replace these two electrolytic capacitors here. So you can see this is 1998, so these have been in here 28 years. I mean, it's still working and there's no signs of anything leaking, but that being said, if I can replace them with these ceramic ones, they'll last pretty much forever. And then replace this with this stronger capacitor and this board here, which means it will be able to handle the power that needs to be used by the new IPS screen much better. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we actually need to remove the old regulator, because we're going to be using a new IPS screen. So the old power regulator, which is this board here, can actually be removed. And while we're at it, we're going to take all three of these electrolytic capacitors off as well, because they're going to be replaced while we're at it. Okay, microscope on. This is C35, so this is the first capacitor we're going to change. These things are very, very small. So that's where it's going to go. Easy enough. I'm just going to try and tack it in with some solder. So So that's the main bits done. So we've changed our capacitors here, and installed this mod here. So that's the main bits done, really. Now what we're going to look at is the screen and the case. So here we've got our IPS screen kit, and this is the screen itself. Okay, so we're going to have to do a bit of research just to figure out what we need to do here, but yeah, this is effectively it. Okay, so the next stage is installing the IPS screen. So we've got a little bit of soldering to do on this board, so I'm going to get us under the microscope and make a start on that. Okay, so all our wires are connected. So now we just need to get the screen in place. For that, we're going to need the case, but there's a couple of things to do first. We just need to insulate the back of the screen. I'm going to do that with this. Okay, so that will insulate that. And now I've got another one, insulate the back of that. So this is the case I picked up again from Retro 6. Nice looking. I'm an absolute sucker for transparent cases. I just can't resist. So I've gone for a nice bright red, but it's transparent, so we'll be able to see a little bit of what's going on inside. But yeah, nice little case this. So it should effectively fit in there somehow, but it doesn't quite fit, so I believe there's some modification I've got to do. Just get rid of them. These two bottom ones are definitely still in the way, so these are going to go as well. So let's just start putting it together. So that folds over there. I told you that was very sticky. So I'm going to give this a little test before I stick anything in place and just see how it goes. Okay, well, it works. Oh, I missed something here. Is this what I'm supposed to? Oh my god. Ugh. I'm going to have to come up with another way now of holding the screen in the right position. So I think that'll hold, hopefully. So let's just piece this thing back together again. Let's try this again. So buttons all in the right places. Give it a go. So the moment of truth really is what happens when we peel this off. Okay, so that's the mod complete. Let's give this thing a try. Look at this, and it's beautiful. New shell. And look at that. I mean, I can't understand a word it says, but much better. Now this thing has a built-in menu, so we can change brightness and the position of the screen. We can have a battery display on or off. We've also got these touch sensors at the top, so we can change the brightness. And then this mode here, which lets us select the colour palette that we want. So if you're playing an original Game Boy game or a Game Boy Color. And there you have it. Modded Game Boy Color. So there we have it. The successful mod. We've got an IPS screen in there now. We've updated the power so that it will run that IPS screen with no problem, and replace those electrolytic capacitors, 2 of them with ceramics, so they'll never leak. They'll last pretty much forever. And updated that power capacitor with a nice fresh high power one to run that IPS screen. New case that looks the bee's knees. So yeah, happy days. Game Boy Color. Thanks for watching the Egg Lab. See you next time.